Indeed, greetings to you, dear ones. We are that one known as Osairah, and we are in fact overjoyed to be in this alignment with you. We are recognizing you. We are recognizing the way in which this configuration is being received, the way in which this transmission is pouring forth, you could say. We are overjoyed at the opportunity to be in this alignment. We are happy for the connection that our beloved channel and those of you who are participating on any level are here with us today. We are recognizing this configuration as a beautiful emanation of the willingness of your souls, the way in which it is that you have come to be in a great alignment with this time upon your planet, with your own soul's request, with the way in which you have commissioned yourself to be here on this planet at this time. It is our highest joy to be in this configuration with you. It is literally what you could say is our mission. We are recognizing to give this opportunity a little bit of a frequency alignment, not only to each of you that are receiving this transmission, both live and in, as you would say, the afterplay, but what we would also say is to our beloved channel for this opportunity that is moving through her systems and all the ways in which she is configuring this throughout the connection with the body and the soul. We recognize to say that this opportunity is not only our divine mission. Today, we want to impart to you all this connection, which is very high dimensionally lifting you all. And what we would say is the seventh dimensional connection, very strongly seventh dimensional connection, 11th dimensional connection, 8th dimensional connection, 9th dimensional connection. We are recognizing many of the configurations that which we are. We are that collective known as Osairah, the 12 of us being what you could consider very high vibrational beings of light, which you would understand to be many ways guardians guide, what you also say is the lights, or what you would say beings of consciousness that have what you have a higher ascendance. This is just that we have a different vibrational frequency to this world you are living in the third dimensional life. What we want to acknowledge, it is truly our joy to be here with you all. We say to you that many conversations, topics, alignments are coming in, floating in, what you would say, pieces of what it is that you are all requesting to hear about, essentially. What we want to acknowledge too, though, is very, very important. Please, dearest ones, sit back, relax, and listen. Receive that which is being transmissioned to you, not just through the mental body, the way in which you think, the way in which your mind is always racing to put things into compartments, to compartmentalize and to think about the information being presented to you. We speak in a very particular way, and we are offering this particular way to you. Is a bit of a conversation through what you would call the language of through this body of the channel. It is literally codes. It is literally the way in which the frequency is turned into languaging that you are compartmentalizing with language, thinking about the words and understanding it. But we really want it to resonate. We want it to land within you. We are wanting for you to be open to the transmission of the frequencies of light that are coming through this way. We say to you that this is a receivership you are in, and we are happy that you have begun this process with us, all of you. We are really focused at this moment and time very heavily on a regular basis, speaking to you all about the transformation that is at hand, for we know it is present within you all. You are all recognizing the various ways in which systems are changing, people are changing. There is much waking up and there is much being, we should say, crumbling down. We are often on this topic because of the fact that our human friends are so seemingly at this moment, specifically in certain regions of the world, heavily focused on the things that are taking a highlighted stand in the world for change. We want to acknowledge the thing that we believe is a very strong component in the process of that transformation. And that is what you do with your own energetic vibration, what you do with your own light emanation, and what you do with your love. That begins to become a living embodiment of the change you wish to see in the world. we say to you, these three components especially are very important. And we say it is a good place for many of you, regardless of the spiritual walk you've been on, regardless of the lack of a spiritual walk you've been on. We don't care the shape, color, or size of any of you. We don't see it at all. And we would say to you that we see the essence of your beingness, the soul self of you, the ways in which you have configured to come through a body, to be the light of the world, to be the change you wish to see, to we, which you would say is the understanding of the consciousness that you have come to remember that you are. And so with that, we like to converse with you about the love that you are. And we know for some people, it seems as if we seem to sometimes talk about this repetitively, but yet it is because many of you, not only who would be listening to this, but many around the world are not connected to the love that they are truly. And so it is a conversation to be had on the regular. We wish to have that alignment seen, known, felt, and experienced deeply within you, which will be the aspect of the connection to change the world. It is literally a vibration that is put into the world. So you are continually out picturing the experience you are having within. We know that is fascinating for you to think about. And sometimes it is difficult for you to think about. And sometimes you literally cannot think about it. So we understand all these ways of being. We understand how challenging it is. We understand too how courageous you are to be in this alignment. There is such joy here. There is such beauty and majesty here. There is so much for you to learn through the experience of what even is the contrast, the duality of your existence. And yet that is not what is real. What is real is the ever eternal lightness of your being. So we say to you that the ways in which many of you are confronting things in your own lives individually is what you could say is the macrocosm, is the microcosm of the macrocosm of all. And what we often talk to our human friends about is how it all begins within. And so we say to you, there are so many simple things that you can be experiencing to do, and we know you like the doings, that if you allow yourself the true time to do those things that call your spirit forward, you will set your vibration on a different path. And when you set your vibration on a different path, literally the world changes around you to meet that vibration. Most of you have a very difficult time with this idea because you feel victim of the world. You feel that you have no choice. And this is a very important piece of the topics that we talk about, which is that you are the chooser. You are a human chooser, not a human doing. It's one of our favorites. It's one thing we like to reflect to you, that we know that some of you are in what we would call choice. You feel that you don't have a lot. Therefore, you think you don't have a lot of choice. Therefore, the reflection outside of you is that you have not a lot of choice. There are so many ways that human beings create their reality. So if you consider that you think you cannot do something, that it continues to be the reflection of your experience. Now, we have had many with our human friends who say, "What, Osairah, if this were so, and there were people, or there's my friend who is in a position, he or she thought leave that situation, or she cannot move from that area and she is stuck there." What we would say is that is her creation, and she is the chooser of that creation. We know that gets very big for some people, because then you take it into the other extremes of your experience in the third dimension. Oh, well, dreams. We know that there are things like dis-ease. We know there is experiences that lead to harsh reality experiences, and that per se, that those people are choosing that, is very difficult for humanity at times to hear, to integrate, and to come to understand what we really mean when we say that you are human choosers. There is always, dear one, a soul lesson in everything that is experienced by any being in consciousness. Any embodiment, any physical being who is embodied comes to this planet with very much a reality blueprint that their soul is calling them forward to experience. That does not mean things are predestined, preordained, always set, and it cannot veer. But ultimately, there are things that soul desired at an extraordinary level of consciousness to experience in the third dimensional reality, which will gift, no matter what that experience is, that soul something they have requested. And ultimately, it is always for a higher good. And we know that being very densely in the third dimension, you cannot always see it. Some cannot always see it. People don't always see that ultimately, no matter what the storyline is, no matter what the experience is, ultimately there is gold there. There is transformation there. There is something the soul or the souls have wanted, and it may be so large that you cannot conceive of it, but you do not understand the ripple effect of all the soul's choosings that you come to interplay with on this third dimensional reality. And so what this leads us back to in a bit of the conversation, which we fully love to open up and have more discussion about and questions about, is that in truth, there is so much more you can experience when you take personal responsibility deeply, truly, authentically within. When you take a personal responsibility for the thoughts you are thinking, for the energies that you are putting out. And if you are putting out energies that are reflecting something, or thinking thoughts that are reflecting and giving you something back, that you ultimately realize, I don't really like that too much. I see that maybe if it's possible that I am a part of this co-creation, and there is something that is being reflected to you that you do not love, do not like, do not want, then there is something inherent in that you can take some personal responsibility about. Because, dearest ones, no matter what the experience is, no matter if it is something you love or you do not love, it is ultimately a spiritual journey. It is a walk of the soul. It is a walk of the higher desire for expansion of the soul. And so everything is always about that expansion. Even the seemingly darkest dark things are a pull towards the expansion of the highest that can come out of that. And so what we would like to reflect, give awareness to, and drop into you all is, please, what is it that you are in co-creation with? What are you choosing as a human chooser? What are you choosing? And what is it within that you can take personal responsibility for? So catch yourself, we say. Pay attention. Wake up, dearest ones, to that which is awakening within you, that which is pouring forth through you, as you, into the world, being the reflection. And how is it that you can learn from that reflection? How is it that you can own and take personal responsibility for that which you are co-creating? Some of you are creating literally heaven on earth. And we do not necessarily mean that the outside actually looks like some version of someone else's heaven on earth. Many of you are having experiences and you are being in somewhere very different than what is the perceived norm of heaven on earth. And yet you are having an internal experience of heaven on earth. This is the call. This is the soul's call. This is an expanded spirit. This is the ways in which you are elevating consciousness. This is the way that you change the world. This is what is occurring on this planet. Though the reflections look like so many different, and we do say look like so many different outpicturings, You still, as the sovereign being unto yourself, the consciousness that is the soul life that you are, the soul signature of the eternalness of being that you are, can actually be a connected piece of the equation of the highest light that you have come here to learn, no matter what the circumstances are. And so we see that as a lot. We see to say to you that gives you some food for thought, that opens up a few opportunities for conversation. We are wondering with our beloved connection to it is Laura, if there is a beginning with what you would say questions, and we would love to go from there. And if not, we will, of course, ramble on, ramble on, ramble on. Ha!
Hi, Osairah. Yes, we would love to hear you ramble, and we also have some questions. So the first question is from Kathy, and the question is, I'm noticing a lot of dreams and recalibration in myself and others seem to be having the same experience. Is there some divine healing or initiation going on and what can we do to enhance that? Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you, dearest one. And thank you to Kathy, we say. It is what we would say to you, a wonderful question, and we love it. We like this topic very much. Indeed, you are right. It is a recalibration, and it is, we like this word, it is an alignment, a realignment, and an alignment. For many souls have essentially, we are using certain kinds of buzzwords here. We give a big smile for that. And we say there are, you have all sorts of programmed yourself to be here on the planet at this time. How your soul decided to emanate and to be within a body, to be in the consciousness that it is, and come to this planet at this time, at the ages you are, at the experiences on earth that you have had, for a reason, for your soul self and for the collective agreement that you have wanted to experience. And you have pulled yourself here, programmed yourself here to be here on the earth as there are frequency attunements changes going on within the earth. This is a collective agreement. You are a sentient being. Your collective fellows are sentient beings. The animal spirits and beings on this planet are sentient beings. Your earth is a sentient being. Your plant life, your oceans, your land is its sentient beingness. There is consciousness all around you. And one of the things that is happening for many human beings at this time is that desire to recalibrate and attune with the earth and the many spiritual layers of consciousness that are assisting the earth in all that is happening, have requested essentially this upgrade. And we like to say it like that. There is a bit of an upgrade. In order to become, and so, like what you have said to us, Kathy, is this idea that you can actually become aware of it. In your sleep time, many of you have had what we will say to you is visits from other consciousnesses that are trying to work with you in a place, in a space, in an emotional body system way, in a spirit body system way, in a light body system way that allows you to integrate more fully in a way where you are not having to field so much. When you are going about your daily lives, you are walking down the street, you are going to the grocery store, you are going to your jobs, you are taking care of your families, you are interacting with your friends, you are wanting to have fun, you are wanting to have spirit work, you are wanting to live a life in fullness that you have come here to live. And you are constantly fielding through that consciousness. Fielding, meaning there is much that is filtering through you. It is a lot of work at this time, a lot of work on a regular basis for the body systems, the emotional body system, the spirit systems, the light body systems, the consciousness, the emotions, all of it to be operating and fielding or shifting through, or what we would say is filtering all that is happening. So you can request that you receive these downloads before you sleep in a way, and we like this way. It is something that even happened to our beloved channel many years ago. And basically, you lay your body down before sleep time. You request the highest light of the highest love of the highest vibration of good, however that is for you. For many, this is the idea of, and we understand it very beautifully, and it is an offering so true. And we say they bring in those ones who are the high guides for them. You may even call to us. We are most definitely a family of light and high guides, and the willingness is true love and true light and only the highest good. And what we would say is you request with that high assistance that anything and everything that happens for you in that sleep time is the highest vibration of healing and integration while you sleep. And the key here is acknowledging, saying, decreeing, calling it in, that it is integrated while you sleep. Excuse us, while you sleep, so that you wake already with it integrated. Many of you come to sleep time and have these experiences and can often feel so exhausted by it. This kind of request, this kind of call, this kind of decree can help have it be integrated so that you don't feel so exhausted when you are getting the upgrades, we could say. We hope that helps.
Thank you, Osairah. The next question is from Stacy. I see a question from Kathy too, but I'll circle back to that. As a sovereign being, am I bound by soul contracts that might require pain, or can I declare them void and choose to learn my lessons through joy and pleasure?
Mm-hmm. We think this is wonderful. Thank you, Stacy, for this question. We like how you have understood this question even as you ask it, because you are a sovereign being and you can declare this. There are certain kinds of what we will say agreements we feel to say to you and our friends on a regular basis that we have chosen over time and understanding of our human friends, working with so many for so long, that we see that when we use or even you use the word contract, it feels so much more, we will use the word tense, tight, bound. It feels so locked into place, yes? And so we like the word agreements. You have many agreements that you have made for your soul's growth, period. If we could just put a period there. And then we would say, and yes, you can continue the path to awaken that you have made those soul agreements and then choose, I see. I have been learning it like this. I have been maybe this place where I'm having a point of pain, a point of discomfort, something I'm repeating, I do not like it. This thing that I see comes back around. Maybe, just maybe, this is an agreement I've made that there's something here for me to learn. And rather than having this sound, since now I am aware of it, be a choice that I have to choose again and again and again in pain to learn this part of this process, I'm going to step aside with that. And I'm gently going to recognize that I can choose to jump that track. And I may choose to change that contract, that agreement, and soften it. How about I learn it like this completely? And then it can come in and shift it out. I choose to learn it through not something that seems so harsh to my experience. In fact, now, let me see. Can I, and this is the way, we are showing you the way to work with your own consciousness, your own soul sovereignty, to declare and decree what it is you are choosing by taking full responsibility, by also recognizing that you have made these agreements maybe on a contract level. You say, so maybe I have been doing it this way and I want to lighten it. But in fact, maybe rather than even lightening it, I want to remove it altogether. What we would ask you to do in that point of the power place is sit for a few. Take some time with that. Don't just try to cut it out, because really that ultimately does not give you what you came here for. You came to transmute. You came to change. You came to significantly remove things that anchor through you in previous lifetimes. We will call them simultaneous realities occurring, to shift that energy to have the greatest expansion of the growth that is potential within that nugget. We would say, let's say it's a dark nugget. It's a heavy nugget. It's something that you would call pain that I do not want to experience any longer, Osairah. And we would say, okay, then go into that pain and see what that is about. If and indeed you have made that agreement and you acknowledge it, you can shift that. But it is not that you would necessarily just say to it, blast you out, it's gone now. Most of the time, for most of our human friends, the reason that does not work is because, and we give those work because it doesn't always work that way, because really, your soul has a higher knowledge for you, a higher understanding of why in the world you would choose that in the first place. So we ask you to try to get into the alignment of seeing what is the good there. What is it that this can bring you? What is it that there is within this seemingly dark thing, this dark nugget, this dark, hard pain point, this, maybe it is dis-ease, or maybe it is a harsh relationship. And how it is that that has brought you anything. And if it has brought you any measure of love, that is the point of where you expand, because that is why you brought it to yourself in the first place. You bring everything to yourself so you can understand yourself better and you can expand your soul so that you can go into those places where it is the darkest darks and the most painful pains. And you can look it directly in the eye and you can know that is not actual. It is not real. And I must have brought this in. And how can I look at this piece that is so painful, sit with it for a while and watch it dissolve? And what it does, dear ones, is it begins to transform you. And you literally become anew. You become a new human experience. You become a new human understanding. You become an awakened one within the soul self that you are, that requested those parts, those detours, those harsh roads, those difficult relationships, those illnesses, even what you call death, those things experienced become the point of power of awakening for you. They are never just brought to you for no small thing. They are never just brought to you to make you suffer. You bring them to yourself at a soul level with such high regard for the opportunity to come into a human form and experience the greatness that the form of being in a body in the world of phenomena, the way that you get here, gifts you for the transformation. You come to be transformed. So wish not necessarily to cut those things out. And yes, we do understand what that means for many. There's been times when our beloved channel is says, Osairah, calling in all of her guides, calling in all of the high aspects of herself. Please, let's just remove this pain. And in time, dearest ones, that is ultimately what you are doing. But it is never because you actually cut it out. It is because over time, in time, you faced it. You walked through it a little bit more and a little bit more and again, and you walked into it and you said, okay, now I'm just going to soften and let it be here with me now. I'm going to open up and expand and let me see that this thing that it is felt so painful for so long, I'm just going to see, will I die if I look it in the eye? And if I look it in the eye, can I walk away from it? And if I can walk away from it, did I gain power from that experience of knowing who I really am? Yes, we say. That is a beautiful process. And as a sovereign being, that there is the birthright you have come for. We hope that helps.
Thank you, Osairah. The next question is again from Kathy, and it's a question that I think a lot of us have right now. It seems like the role of women right now is giant in this current transition. How can we add to that?
Thank you, dearest ones. We have been speaking for seems so many years now with our beloved channel about this emergence of the divine feminine and your places that you are taking in the world and the ways in which you are standing up for eons and eons of time of repression, and especially in the last 2,000 to 5,000 of your timeline years of which you understand history to be, which we say will be altered and understood at a different level soon enough. And we say to you, yes, You are taking these stands in the world, and this role that the divine feminine force, the mother energy, is so incredibly powerful. And what we mean by that does not mean that every woman must be a mother. We say that because it is true that you are all the manifestation of the divine mother. You are all the mother lines of connection through not only many lifetimes, but here you are again, taking the willingness to be standing in the power principle of the divine feminine force. And you are balancing energies, many of you. And yet it is a need, it is a call, it is a resurrection, essentially, of the force of the divine feminine that has been in repression from the patriarchy. And yes, you are taking a stand. And we say, yes, 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 yes. Because if you look around at the systems, you look around at the cultures, you look around at the world overall, it is not in balance, and it hasn't been. And that is seen by pretty much, we would say, everyone except for some of those who wish to hold the old energies in place. And yes, we know, and we say, you are looking directly at those energies too. There is a expansion happening. What we would call is the divine feminine mother energy on this planet is rising. It is not just the goddess. It is not the maiden or the crone. It is the mother. It is the essence of life. It is that which you have come from, that is ever expanding, always birthing, always rebirthing. There is death and rebirth throughout all time in existence, because that is literally life. But at this time in human form, what is called for is the awareness of the divine feminine to take the energetic understanding and anchor it to the truth and the principles of the highest light of life, the highest power of life, life for your earth, life for women and children, life for plants, animals, the ways in which your earth and you are cohabitating together, the way that there is an alignment for the divine feminine at this time to be resurrected. It is vital for you to listen to that call, however that shows up. And what we mean by that, for some of you, you are healing old wounds of the divine feminine. You are going through your own pain within the experiences of remembering and waking up. There are many of you who are balancing the masculine and the feminine within yourselves as physical women. But we want to acknowledge too, dear one, that the masculine is beginning and trying to balance itself too. It may not seem like that right now, but please remember, you are a wholeness. You are a holiness. There is really only one of you here. That is difficult, we understand. That is not what it seems like on the third dimensional reality. And yet, at the higher levels of understanding, when you look in on your planet and the experience of third dimension, you really understand that there is a connection here that is so great. So the stand that women take for the oneness of all creation is bubbling up within so many women. And it is vital. And yet we really must say it also must be tempered with some balance. And so what we mean by that is wherever you are as a physical woman, and if that is your experience of being in a body, as a physical woman, as you are emerging with the forces that have been repressed and have been raped and have been taken down on any level, have been enslaved on any level. When you come to the conscious of that, we say to you, yes, there are places where that rage bubbles up, and we understand that truly, for this repression has been too long in hand. This has been occurring for far too long on this experience. And yet, at this time, it has come to be in the awareness to change. It has come to the surface. As you feel those things, as you all see those things, do the work within yourself to write your own life, to feel the balance of the sweetness and the softness and the ways in which you can hold the love and the light of the gentle mother. And at the same time, as you step into the places of power where you know you have to stand strong like a mother bear who will fight for her cubs no matter what and put down her life, we understand that there's two extremes, maybe more, yes, of of the experience of the divine feminine's rising, what we would ask you to do is there's a place for everyone, to remember that. And if you can, notice how it is you can personally merge these two in the most balanced way. You will begin to know more peace. You will not be on one extreme or the other. There is a way to the center. There is a way for the divine masculine and the divine feminine to be in harmony. And there is a way where the divine feminine can actually come into her harmony, which will then shift the consciousness for everyone around them. So it begins with one. It begins with the way in which you are enlightening yourself, the way in which you are doing the interpersonal work, the way you are doing the interdimensional work with yourself, the way in which you are spiritually opening, the way in which you are configuring to change how it is that you personally maybe have been too extreme on this one area. Are you willing to look at ways that you have been damaging to the divine masculine, possibly, both within yourself and potentially outside of yourself, because of the long essential remembering that you have had about so much repression as a divine feminine? We do not say the divine masculine must be thrown out. We do say that there is a configuration that is coming in time, as you understand it, for the merging to be a what we would say a whole lot more balanced. So we say to you so many aspects. We feel that that could even be a whole other topic. The divine feminine, and as she is rising, the sovereign one, whom is in the unification of the beloved, the way in which these energies begin to balance and right themselves and unify as one. When you come to these places, both within your own lives, and you see the reflection around you in the people you are surrounding yourself with, we say that is the collaboration you have come for. That is the ripple effect of the light to transform the world. We hope that helps.
Thank you, Osairah. There are no other questions, so I'm going to ask a question that I have.
Wonderful.
Knowing that we're choosing our experiences always, I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit about addiction, and whether that be addictive thought patterns or ways of relating, or even actual substance abuse. So I'm wanting to understand more about why do we choose that, and in order to move past that, is that something we can just choose to release, or is there a step in really understanding how it has served us, why we chose it, and just more about that, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Thank you, dearest one, for this conversation piece. We like what you said there in the middle. Is there a step where we can understand it better, why we chose it or why it is there, so that we can release it or move forward with whatever it was there to teach you? And we say to you a number of things. This is such a big conversation. We will do our best to succinctly give you bits that we think can be helpful. One of the things we say to our human friends for many years is, when this topic has been brought up previously, is we feel to say to you that on many levels, addiction is there are two ways to consider how we would say this. A lot of addiction, depending upon what the addictions are, is a connection desire, a lack of feeling connected, both in the world with people, but also with the beingness in the self experience. And so human beings tend to become in desire of connection, in desire for feeling experience, for feeling relief, receiving love, receiving relief from the world, is often a desire to feel connected to the self within, to feel connected to the wholeness, you could say, to the God feeling, the God principle, the love of God. So many people have the experience to seek outside of themselves for that connection. And it often is through both ingestible things, whether or not that is other kinds of substances, that is also often the desire to be connected to someone or something that gives them love that they think is love. So because there's something within the spirit or the soul self that is desiring to feel a greater expansion of love, but it is never ever fully received until the person really does the work on the inside. So it is always a temporary fix. This is what you would call addiction. Addiction is that seeking of something to fill up. And we know that this is a way that people talk about it, but it really is to fill up this place where they feel void. But the void is really that they are not willing to go in here and understand that you are connected, that there is no disconnection. This is also when people have this idea, and so there are so many different ways. We understand how some people have this belief around the idea that there are ways of having genetics to make someone addicted. Now, we understand that your science is, we will give a smile, trying to prove that or has said it exists. We would also say, in regards to that, we would say, you are conscious co-creating with your body system. You are constantly, consciously co-creating with your body system. You are genetically wired. You are cellularly wired. You are, let us say, expanding on that level of the ways in which you are understanding that you are actually essentially programming and reprogramming your bodies. You can heal. You have many testimonials of miracles upon this planet. There are people who have thought they were absolutely an addicted person or an addicted, how should we say, personality type, that they even had the quote genes, and ultimately in time found that that was not quite so. There are also those who will hold the belief that they are addicted and cannot have this, or that will always be addicted and have to have this. That belief is so strong, it becomes the vibrational embodiment of them, and that is where they live, and that is what they will do, because the belief is so strong. We know this is very much going to be a challenge for some people who may be listening and have a very strong held belief about addiction, about the body, about the ability to heal, about the ability to let go of addictions. We know this will be a trigger point for some people because their beliefs are so very rooted. They believe that they are absolutely addicted and there's no way out. And if a person is in that space and they cannot be open to the potentiality, the possibility, the possibility that there is something more than that belief, then that is where they will stay. And we have no argument with that, because we have no argument ever, ever, because we know that our human friends, that you are all here doing that which is going to serve your soul the best, the highest. We believe ultimately that potentiality and possibility for anything and everything is always available to you. It has to do with your belief. It has to do with what you are chewing on. It has to do with what you are willing to think about, what you are willing to jump the track with. If you are constantly on a loop in your head and you're thinking, addicted to negative thinking, negative thinking, negative thinking, negative thinking, negative thinking, we know for certain your life is going to reflect that. We know many of you begin to know that too. How you jump the track, how you let go of the addiction, how you let go of the alcohol, let's say, or the person, let's say, is you have to begin with the belief that you can do it. You have to begin to question even if this is your highest life experience. Question if this is the truth for you. Questioning whether or not this is the end all be all, this belief that you are carrying, this repetitive thought. And the more you question your own thinking, the more you begin to expand. And we cannot say that again enough times. The more you question your own beliefs, the more you begin to expand. Because if you can look at those beliefs, you can question them. And if you can question them, you open the door for something other to come in. And that helps you to grow. That is what you are here for. So if you are trying to let go of an addiction on any level, let's just use the simple one of a negative thought. Your belief that you can change, that negative thinking, that negative thought loop that you are on is where it starts. That's your power principle. Go there, drop in, recognize, wait a minute. Oh yes, that's right. This is what I do. I go round and round on the loop. First, you have to become aware that you were even doing the loop, that you were on the loop of negativity. First, you must say, oh yes, there it is. I go on this loop of negativity. Now, please recognize. Don't just sit there and say, oh, yes, I go on this negative loop of negativity. I just constantly go on the negative loop of negativity. Well, you are ingraining that on a regular basis, and that continues to be your experience too. The first step, as they say, in some ways, is this. Recognize that that is there. Now, don't hammer it down that it is there. Don't beat it over and over and over and over and over and over and over that you are a negative thinker. Just recognize, lighten it up. Oh, yes, sometimes I am a negative thinker. I like to jump on that track and I like to run around with that really very specific one negative thought. My life is no good. 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 Everything is bad in my life. Everything is bad. When you are on that loop and you are continually, it takes you to see it first, then lighten it up. Oh, there I go again. Look at that. If you really want to change that negative loop, you have to jump off and then you have to do something different. We like to say, do the very opposite. If you are a person who drinks 5 drinks a day and you're recognizing that maybe those 5 drinks a day do not really work for you, do the very opposite of that. Begin to let yourself have 2 drinks a day and change it. Now, we know we are simplifying. We know we are making light of it. And we know that addictions kill people. We understand that that is a part of the experience. We are not saying that we are making this just airy-fairy. Please no. But we also know from our experience, from our vantage point, that human beings choose their life experiences based upon the soul's desire for the greatest potentiality for the highest growth, the opportunity where the soul will learn something so magnificent that it literally chooses that thing in order to learn the magnificent, to learn the ways of its highest expansion, to learn the things that may make it grow to the greatest degree in that particular lifetime. And then our human friends say, how is that possible, Osairah, if that person is choosing something like a drug addiction and that drug addiction took that person to the gutter and that person died? And we say, we have utmost compassion and understanding for your position when you look upon that with death. But from our vantage point, from where it is that we stand, with the higher recognition, from the vantage point that we stand, we see with such love and neutrality, all mixed at the same time. We know that that soul, no matter what you have seen, no matter what your judgment on that is, even if it was actually you, brought you to the gutter, brought you to the depths of what you would say the darkest despairing days of your existence, something in that experience, even if for those who have crossed the veil of life, who have moved into the next rebirth, even if they had the death experience, dearest ones, please judge it not because you do not know. You can never know. You do not know what that soul gained from that life experience with that seemingly bad situation. There are always perfect checks and balances in this universal order of experience on the third dimension. And though we know that our human friends overall can't see that from your vantage point on a regular basis, that is what you're striving for. You're striving to understand that there is no thing wrong here, that there is perfection in all things, that there is divinity in the person that you might see in the gutter and you may judge as a terrible and sad thing. And maybe it is, and maybe there is a place for you, even if it is you who sees that person in the gutter and you can offer love. If you can sit there with that one and say, you know, I really am here for you and I understand. I love you in spite, no matter what, just because you exist. And is there something I can give you? If that is your call, or if it is you who is in that place and you are in an addictive loop, no matter if it is the gutter and you are the drug addict, or if it is the one who is in the home, who is, we see a lot of this, recognizing the what you would call the prescription drugs are such a thing we are recognizing in a Western culture at this time, because so many are dealing with so many frequencies and they do not know how to allow themselves to change, to cope, to say, I can't do this all, that I am not in these moments, I am not capable to be everything that everybody wants all the time. There are so many who are numbing their systems because they don't allow themselves to feel fully. your pain, your sadness, your rage, because that's when it will move through you. Feel fully that your life is feeling like you are looking for something more. Listen to that call. It doesn't come for no reason. It comes to wake you up. It comes because your soul is connected to something greater. It is calling you to something greater. And it is not the drug addiction. It is not the codependent relationship. That is a manifestation of something that is calling for you to step in greater, to receive the lesson, but yet move through it. We know that is a lot, and we also know that is quite a bit of what we would say controversial material, and at the same time, this will land upon the ears who can hear. We look forward to deeper questions or more conversations, or even what you would say, the banter. Haha, we like the banter, the conversation, the questioning of these things with us. So we hope some of that helps. Does that help, dearest one?
Yes, so helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Osairah, we have about 15 minutes, and I have two questions that I'm hoping we can squeeze in. This next one is from Carrie, and you've already touched on this quite a bit, but I'm going to ask it anyway in case there's any nuance or anything you want to add. So her question is also about addiction, and why is it that we fear going within to reconnect with ourselves in order to work through our addictions? To putting ourselves down instead of fully loving ourselves. These beliefs you speak of are very strong, and these need to be changed and reworded. And how to do this? Some find this very difficult.
We like this question very much. Thank you, Carrie, for this conversation and this way in which you asked the question. We know that at times it seems as if we simplify our answers, or it seems that our answers can sometimes even seem trite. We are not meaning to not seem as if those questions that are big for you are simplistically answered and, oh, then go for it. We say to you that we understand the challenge, but there is a growth process that happens for human beings, and everybody's growth process is different. Everybody's growth process is different. Some of you do not come in with the badgering negativity thoughts, and some of you do. Some of you do not come in with the lack of self-love, and some of you do. Some of you, when you come in with the lack of self-love, you maybe have a different area where your life thrives and you have no issue, where the other one who comes in with a whole lot of self-love and understanding of themselves will still suffer in another area that you have mastered. So there is no magic answer for everyone, because you are all on a growth process cycle. What we mean by that too is in time, and this is a thing, you could say, in the timeline of the third dimension, many of you have signed up for your lives with these issues, and we say it lightly like that. We give a big smile. You have signed up for your life, and you said, yes, I will take this ride. I will go, and I will be this kind of one, and I want to learn this thing, and I want to do that thing, and I remember I want to heal that very big wound that I carried many, many timelines before. Yes, let's get this one done in this lifetime. What you then do is essentially those themes are laid out for you on some level, and that is what you would call the inner experience. The inner experience is ultimately driving you to expand wider. The ways in which you feel about yourself, the ways in which your spiritual walk inside of yourself has to be uncovered, is very much programmed by the soul individually. You are ultimately doing all the same thing. You are all doing the same thing. You are expanding. You are growing. But you do it in a, quote, different way. Ultimately, it's all the same. So ways that you can expand your own inner experience with going within, connecting deeply within, it is a process. There is no quick way there for you, for the next person. And maybe for the next person, there seems to be a quick way. We're not saying there is no way for you, Carrie, or someone else who is listening. We are saying that every individual soul is going through their own process of ways that they wake up to themselves, of ways that they will unhinge or let go or move the heavy block over and off themselves on the inside, on the soul level. Waking up to yourself in some ways is a growth process, just the same way it was when you were a baby who could not walk. Your mother laid you down on the bed and you were on your back and you clicked and you pushed and you moved and you stretched and your legs flapped up and down and you moved them and you got stronger and the muscles became more agile and you learned to have more control within the physical body. And in time, your mother laid you down in a different angle and you began to strengthen that way, maybe on your belly. And as you began to strengthen your muscles that way, you became more agile. You were growing yourself in time. As you got to other stages of the levels of development of the body system, we are using the body as a reflector to the same thing, the way the soul does, that you understood how to move the body a little bit more when you started to put the knees together and began to do the crawling. So the ways that the body became strengthened is similar to the ways of your soul becoming strengthened to your own willingness to go within and not run away. To understand that there is only you and you here, which is ultimately the light of the world, the Godhead that you are, the creation principle that never ends, never, ever is their death. You begin to be unafraid to go within yourself and find out what exists here. This is a coming to know who you are with the consciousness that is the soul self within you. As you begin to do that, you strengthen the ability to be able to do that, just as you did when you began to crawl. And then you really began to crawl. And your mother had to run after you because you were going to crawl away. And now you come to the place within you where you begin to wake up your systems. You begin to feel the light within you, the love within you. And when you do that with the soul self within, dearest ones, one of the things that begins to happen is, at a human level, there's a part of you that cannot handle that. And so you run away a little bit. We say that is a wonderful point of power. We talk about point of power a lot at the time. When you come to that place within yourself that there is a light, there is love, there is a wellspring of love that you could maybe even fall into and literally love yourself with. Sit there, be there, wake up to that love eternal that is within you, and be in this place with yourself. Most people do not take the time to be with the one they are with the entire life that they have the body. You're always looking outside of yourself for something to fill you up. When we say you're already full, you just have not turned inward to see it. You have looked outward and you have been filling it up with the outside. First, dearest ones, the walk at some point for everyone becomes an inward walk. We say it does not matter if that is the 5 days before you are about to leave the planet and your body is going to die. At some point, you begin to go, oh my goodness, this was always an inner walk. So how is it that I can best expand in there and know the love that is in here? And as I begin to know the love that is in here and I really cement it and I say, that's right, I have confidence because I love this one in here. I really like this one in here. Oh, there's some stuff to do in there. I've got some things to work out. Whoa, where is those pieces where I don't love myself so much? Let me soften. Let me be with that. Let me just sit with that. Let me learn to love that. Let me see if there's something there for me. And then you begin to change on the inside. And then what happens is on the inside, the change creates the external, the outside. So many of you at this time are experiencing an inward change that is shifting you so greatly that you are beginning to see the outer change. At least what we would say is you're doing the work. And that is where it begins. We hope that that has landed some of those bits. That is a very big question that we would like to return to again.
Thank you, Osairah. Are you open to one more question?
We are feeling the time has approached. We are wishing to come and speak again. It is time for us to depart, though.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here with all of us today. And West, I'm sorry we didn't get to your question. And
let us take it. If there's only one last question, let us do it. Yes.
Well, let's do it. Okay. So West has asked very sensitive and tuned into the Eclipse portal upgrades and grateful for any guidance from Osairah on my music and how it can serve the higher vibrations streaming onto the planet at this time.
Indeed, dearest Wes. Thank you so much for this connection, the recognition of the time of the eclipse energies, the way in which your Earth is going through her own transformation, the way in which the planetary alignments, the vibrational frequencies are changing upon your Earth. Your scientists are beginning to understand the resonance on the Earth has actually shifted, the changes that are happening. You cannot help but be affected. You are electromagnetic beings. Your earthly experience is electromagnetic. You are connected to it all. So we say, tune in with the Earth, all of you, and we appreciate this work you do, dearest one, West, with the musical connection. And we say it is from the higher realms that you can plug in. Let yourself be in a receiver, a channel, if you will, the same way that you see that it is the beloved works like this and opens up the openings for the receivership of this. Allow yourself with the highest to have your ear to the ground, to have your ear to the sky, to have your ear to the elementals, to have your ear to the hearts of men and women and children, to listen widely with your senses, to pull in that which is the highest light, to offer that to the world in ways with the music that you would sing, you would be, you would create, you would instrument, how it is that that is emanating from you. And as you begin to know that, you can tune that in even better. So it is a belief again. That is one thing we will return to. The offering, so many of our human friends are igniting the ways in which you are all becoming more intimately creative, the way in which you realize, my heart is pulled to create this kind of magic or this kind of art or this kind of writing. Or even if you are working in situations that seem not so creative, you can still bring the art of love. You can still bring the art of sweet resonance through your effects, your kindness, the ways in which you create love, create magic through the offerings of anything that feels like, this is goodness. The more you believe that, the more you be in belief that you are being that, the more it literally translates outside to the world. So then what bubbles up as an artist or a musician or one who serves the world on any level, we care not if you are a teacher or you are a musician, you are all teaching and you are all playing the melody of being human. You are the world. You are the hearts of men and women. You are creating. You are listening. If you are in alignment to understanding what you would say the energies of the earth, if you are understanding the alignment to the energy of your own spiritual transformation, you will go deeply within yourself and understand the song within you. You will go deeply within you. If you are a person who is working at a grocery store or the post office, or you are a person who is working and serving others by way of children, or you are in the world working in an office, we care not how you are doing it. If you are a stay-at-home person, we care not how you are serving, but serve from your heart, serve from the song within you. The only way you can tap into that, though, is if you sit with yourself and you connect out there in here first, bringing that energy, bringing that song, bringing that voice, bringing that tune, bringing that love, bringing that light, bringing that kindness of generosity of your heart. It is not just an artist who brings art to the world. It is all of you. You are bringing the love. You are bringing the light. We say to you, choose love. Choose love. Choose light. Choose kindness. Choose it again and again and again with everything you do, with every breath you take, and more and more and more, you will see your creations a reflection of that choice. You are human choosers. Please choose wisely. We love you so very much. We are happy we took that question. We thank you all for being here on this conversation with us. We absolutely adore each and every one of you, whether or not you are in this moment presently or you're listening again, because we know this recording will reach many. We say it is our joy to be here with you all. It is our blessed moment in this time-space continuum with our beloved channel. The opportunity is great and wide. We say to you, it is our highest mission, our love for humanity, for we are your future, you are our past. We hold this vibration of the knowing that you are the emanation of the future and you are doing it beautifully. Do not despair, dearest ones. You are the light. You are the love. And you are eternal. We look forward to more. We bid you the most magical and loving adieu. Hi again. Hi. A little acclimating. For those of you that don't know, when I come back, it's a little disorienting and I almost forget who I am and where I am. So a little acclimation. I feel overall it's a smooth transition, but sometimes it feels a little bumpy. And that's right. Here I am in Kauai. I'm happy you joined me. I hope it was helpful. I hope that, I trust that it was helpful and that it was information and frequency and alignments to things that can serve you and help on any level that you need that. One of the things that I say after this experience is just let it settle. Just let it distill down into you. So for those of you who are here live, I really, really appreciate your connection in this moment. Absolutely. I really, really, really thank you for that. I really couldn't do it if you weren't here. That's not true. I can definitely do a recording, but it's wonderful to feel the vibration of people being live with me. And so I truly am honored, and I thank you so much for being here live with me. And if you're listening again, which those of you who have been here live, please listen again. You're going to get the recording as well, so that you can ingest it again and again and again, because it really does change, and it changes us. It changes our experience when we hear this and we connect to, really, they have said, Osairah has said, that the language and how they speak to us, literally they put the words together in certain kinds of sequences so that it becomes more of a code of information and not just the actual information, so that that code kind of lays in with you and helps you heal, helps you changes you differently than maybe hearing actual linear, logical languaging, do this, do that, this is the way, this is the way. They're really trying to expand the field of our consciousness and our receiving of that consciousness so that we elevate our own expansion. So it's my joy to be here. So aloha. I would like to just take a moment and see if I don't move too fast, I'd like to give you a little beauty. And so I will walk for a minute and just see if that will work. I'll put on my glasses to do that. Hi. As I am doing this, there's only a few of you still on, but if there's anybody who has a question for me, you can ask it. And I'm just going to show you some beauty of Kauai. I hope you can see it.
Grace, it seems to be frozen.
It's
Oh. Grace, I'm not sure if you're hearing me. It's kind of freezing up.
Okay.
both the visual and the audio. You may just need to take a quick